Hi guys, it's me, your friend Felissa Rose, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to Kendall Hates Horror! Yeah.
Warning, some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing. Welcome to my world, bitch. Kendall hates horror.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I'm so fucking scared right now.
I'm starting to realize that I watch a lot of trashy reality TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
No, I like. There is a certain step that I won't go to. I won't go to like Temptation Island.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
never gonna be a thing.
or like Rock of Love. Or bullshit.
No, nothing like that. Like
not gonna watch
maybe
Bachelorette.
maybe Flavor of Love because a girl took a shit in his house and stuff, and then you get to see like New York like beat the shit out of a white girl, so that's always fun. But other than that, no. I get to like Survivor, Big Brother, and then like anything Gordon Ramsay is on.
Yeah.
For sure. And then a couple of things on A&E. I was a big A&E fucking slut when they had like Chris Angel. Like they had their block of trashy reality TV. It was like a whole block on Sunday. It was Chris Angel, Mind Freak, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and Intervention. All in a row.
I have not seen a single episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, it's such a joy to watch.
Nah.
It really is. Like his family is so fucking weird, because that's who works at
Yeah, they're all his family members.
Yeah,
like it's a son-in-law and shit like
well,
that.
no, it's him, his wife,
The big-titted wife.
yeah, and then his two sons from other marriages, and then his daughter from another marriage. All work at the.
But I'm sure this one's gonna work out.
Yeah, they all work at the bond place that they run.
It's just like I always find it funny whenever people say they're on like their fifth marriage. Like, yeah, okay, I'm sure this one's gonna work out.
yeah.
I'm talking to you, Dad. You're on your fifth marriage. I know one of them died. Blue, blue, blue.
Yeah, but
whatever.
and then it's like takes place in Hawaii and stuff like that, and there's a bunch of fucking meth heads around. It's
Yeah,
fun.
that was like the only part of it that would actually like make me interested is seeing him tackle some meth heads or something. Welcome to this week's episode of Kendall Hates
Was
Horror.
that good enough?
That was good enough. Yeah, that was good enough. I'm your host, Grant. I'm sitting across a table from the. Do you have a brother?
I have a half brother. Yes.
Yeah. So you are the remake.
No, he's the remake.
Oh, he's okay. So Evan is the remake, is the OG to the remake. Evan,
Yeah.
and we are Sans Kendall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, fuck it.
Yeah, Kendall is off being a good family man, good father. He's watching the kids while Jamie is hopefully flying. So we decided to go ahead and hit you guys with the Deep Cuts episode this week. But the next week we're gonna hit you with the big 1-0. We have a very special treat for everybody.
I thought you were gonna say the big titted.
The big
episode.
Well, I mean, we did have both of the tits with us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what do we do? What are we going to talk about today?
We're gonna talk about the remakes.
Remakes,
and specifically in the horror genre.
like we're going to talk about why Hollywood gets this morbid fascination with making remakes all of a sudden, and then you'll get this thing like, oh, they're remaking what now? And then we'll also probably touch on a few movies that we think that probably should never be remade. And then we may have a couple of those on the list of that aren't horror, but specifically I want to talk about horror movies that shouldn't be remade. So,
yeah, because I mean, the thing about remakes is remakes have been around since film has been around. The reason why, so like people are always talking about like, oh, why do they got to remake everything? Why do they got to remake everything? I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason they remake things is because they're almost a for sure fire moneymaker every single time. Like if people don't want remakes to be made,
stop going to see them.
Stop going to see them. But that's the reason, because the studios, yes, they want to make films and they want to make enjoyable films and all that stuff. They also have to think about their bottom line and how they need to survive to get to the next year. That is why tentpole movies exist.
Studios need hits so that they can justify the money they're going to spend on in the next fiscal year. Yeah.
If a studio isn't getting a hit, or if they're going on miss after miss after miss, guess what? That studio doesn't exist anymore. Hollywood Pictures, anybody?
Yeah.
Dark Castle, which we'll talk about in this episode.
TriStar.
Yeah, I mean they don't exist because they didn't get that thing that would make them survive for the next year.
Whereas you have like New Line Cinema. I know that New Line Cinema's kind of had its ups and downs, and it's kind of had some hit and misses. It's back, but it was big in the 80s, 90s, and maybe even to the early 2000s.
It's the house that Freddie built.
It's the house that Freddie built. And so, but they had those tentpole movies, and New Line Cinema famously did Blade also. So it also had that big tentpole movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had a lot of those. Like, I mean, they did Mortal Kombat. They did a lot of things like that. Because Jaws, I don't know if it can be overstated how important
Jaws
it is
was
to the film genre, because Jaws changed the way cinema is from forever. It has been, because studios, they didn't really believe in like, oh, we don't need a tentpole movie. We'll just make enough movies throughout the year and we'll be able to make our money back on those said movies. Then Jaws came out and Universal was like,
spiked.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, their profits spiked all of a sudden in that summer.
And they were like, oh, that movie is going to hold us up for the entire year.
Yeah.
Just that one movie, and now we can kind of do whatever the fuck we want to.
Yeah. That movie funded all the rest of the movies that they needed to fund for the next like year and a half,
and
actually.
then changed cinema forever, because now every studio was like, what's our next Jaws going to be? We need a Jaws. And it was every year, we need a Jaws, we need a Jaws, we need a Jaws. But other studios, like say an A24 right now, they're not getting tentpole movies.
No, they don't have to, though, because all of their movies are making a lot of money.
Yeah, they're making a lot of money. But
same thing with Blumhouse.
Yeah, but horror, at times, horror, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, a horror movie can make money.
Yeah.
Nowadays. Now, back in the day, sometimes it was hard. But the way the studios work now, it's almost impossible for a horror movie not to make money unless it's an independent film. Studios have been making remakes since the dawn of fucking film.
Yeah, because they're almost guaranteed to make they're guaranteed to make their minimum amount of money that they consider to be a profit.
They're an easy money maker. I mean, almost throughout the years, they're just remakes, whether it be a remake of an actual film or whether it be a remake, like an adaptation of a play or a book or whatever. That's what they were putting out there. And I mean, fuck look at just regular film. The Maltese Falcon was remade 3 times.
Yeah.
It was made in like 37. Another one, no, it was like 32, and then the one was made in 37, and the one from like 54, 55.
Yeah, it was weird because they were all in like a 20-year span, so they didn't even have time to breathe.
And
really.
The third remake is the one we know now.
Yeah.
That's the one with Humphrey Bogart. That's the capital C classic
Yeah.
Maltese Falcon that we know. I mean, you look at A Star Is Born. A Star Is Born has been remade like 5 times.
Yeah, for reasons.
For reasons, and they're all different. The only ones that are definitively like the 2 definitive ones that everybody knows are the one that came out 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, with Bradley Cooper
and Lady Gaga, and then the original one with Barbra Streisand, and then the one from like the 70s with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
for me.
And and those 2 are very similar. The original ones aren't even about musicians; they're about fucking movie stars.
Yeah,
but the 2 definitive ones are technically the last 2 that came out. The last 2 in the run of remakes. Horror has been doing this forever.
Yeah,
I mean, to be we want to talk about one of the oldest horror movies is an adaptation of a book, not legally.
Not legally. But it got but one of the oldest movies got remade.
Yeah. We're talking about Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Which
actually has been remade twice now.
Yeah, it's not Dracula.
No, it's definitely not. His name is clearly Count Orlok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like
it's
that
not
one.
the same story at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the people in that movie were German. Not English.
Freud is, or what's his name? It's Willem Dafoe's character is like Freud or Freund or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah,
he's totally not Van Helsing.
It doesn't have the same cast of characters that the original does. It doesn't have.
Yeah. Nicholas Hoult is not. What was his name? Was it William Harkner?
Are you talking about in Dracula?
Yeah, was it?
It was Jonathan Harker.
Jonathan Harkner. Yeah, he's not him.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he doesn't go to Dracula's castle
and encounter weird
weird
bridges, weird
and have to
brides.
Escape and go back to
and gets rescued by a nun.
Like Nosferatu just got remade, and it like the '60s hit with horror, and we got what was known as like modern horror, which was like what most people would say it started with Psycho. Psycho is the godfather of modern horror.
Yeah,
it does nothing happens without Psycho. The advent of like modern horror, you get Psycho, and then 8 years later you get Night of the Living Dead, which those are kind of like go hand in hand together. But like also we get a bunch of remakes in the 70s. One specifically being Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which comes out in 1978, the same year Halloween comes out. And we get this,
if anybody who's seen The Faculty knows, is a blatant ripoff of Rabbi Heinlein's The Puppet Masters.
Yeah, but I mean, like that movie. So the original one came out in like what 54.
Yeah.
And so like this movie is like for some reason like the late 70s and throughout the 80s. We were remaking a bunch of stuff from the 50s. And I think that had to do with a lot of the filmmakers grew up in that time. Like maybe a Kaufman, Philip Kaufman that directed Invasion, and we got like Cronenberg and stuff like that. And maybe they were like, oh, well, and then obviously Carpenter
who directed
the thing. And so they grew up with these movies and like, you know what, I want to make that movie, but I want to make it for this time period.
Yeah.
Because you look at Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original one. The original one is basically like we're afraid of the commies.
Yeah.
Well,
they get this idea. They get this thing about like saying like, oh, Hollywood doesn't have any original ideas. Bullshit. We see lots of original ideas come out. It comes down to the popularity of that particular story or those particular people, and then a director's new take on those characters.
Well, that's like my thing is like I have a higher standard for when it comes to a remake, because if you're gonna make a thing that's already you didn't take the time to write a script really,
right,
to come up with an idea. You didn't, like, you weren't John Carpenter and came up with Michael Myers.
Right.
You're not like Sean Cunningham and came up with Friday the 13th. You didn't come up with this idea, right? So your standard for me just went up a little bit higher. So what are you going to do with this now?
Are you going to change everything, or are you going to change just one thing and hope that we, accept it?
Or are you going to take this idea and make it better?
Yeah.
Like I look at like okay, we've already discussed the thing, but like The Fly, like David Cronenberg remakes this movie that he loves which is The Fly. I mean, he's already been making movies because he made like The Brood and stuff like that. And but he remakes this movie that he loves, which is The Fly, which The Fly, in my opinion, is a fucking masterpiece. It's an incredible film. That movie has like 3 characters in it.
Yeah.
Like when you really think about it, Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum, and the dude who played fucking Stannis.
Yeah.
Other than that, fucking nobody. I mean, the girl he picks up at the bar. But like, there are 3 fucking characters in that entire movie, and that movie is like character driven like a motherfucker when it comes with 3 characters. And then I've watched the original Fly. That movie is fine. It's really
It's fine for what it was and the time period that it existed.
You know, he took an idea and he was like, well, let's do something different with this. Instead of him being a small fly, let's have this guy change
into a human-sized fly. Instead of being a fly-sized human, let's make him a human-sized fly.
Yeah, and then let's talk about this relationship that he has with this woman and how everything is changing, how he's changing as a person. That, and then we get the Blob in '88. Yeah, 2 years later. And sorry for anybody that loves the original Blob.
It's a classic. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
But they took an idea for the Blob and they put great characters behind it. They got, Shawnee Smith is fucking fantastic in that movie.
Matt Dillon is fucking...
Kevin Dillon.
Sorry, Kevin Dillon.
Yeah, Kevin Dillon is...
He's the man.
He fucking rules.
He's so fucking cool.
Flag is the best.
Yep.
With his fucking dirt bike and his mullet. That movie is fucking great. It's just with the 50s movies, I do like a lot of the old 50s movies, but there was a very...
I have to be in a certain mood to watch one of the original 50 movies.
There was a trend when it came to 50s movies. It was all about it was either about the Russians or it was about nuclear fallout. When it came to sci-fi or horror movies.
Horror movies definitely they follow like a fear of the times type of thing.
Oh yeah, that's what they and those two things were prevalent in the horror films.
It was more about like science running wild.
Yeah. And then like the 90s, we get some, but one of the ones we get in 1990 is Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, which is personally next week we're going to review the original Night of the Living Dead. However, I personally like the remake better. It follows the story almost identically except for the ending. I think the acting is just better, and it was signed off by George Romero. So, how do you go wrong when George Romero says, "Yeah, this is really good"?
Yeah.
Audiences didn't agree at the time, but
no,
they rarely do.
No, and then throughout that, you don't. I mean, because the mid '90s are kind of like a weird time for horror because you're getting a lot of sequels, but then you're getting kind of some of the newer stuff because you're getting Leprechaun, you're getting Candyman.
Yeah.
You're getting...
Another Tony Todd.
We're getting Wishmaster.
Yeah. Which is fucking...
Yeah, that and then Warlock, stuff like that is happening in the mid-90s. You're getting some original stuff In the Mouth of Madness is happening around that time, which is a fucking awesome movie.
You get Lord of Illusion.
Yeah, Lord of Illusion. Yeah, another Clive Barker joint. But
and Hellraiser. Forgot about the end of the 80s, early 90s, Hellraiser.
Yeah, Hellraiser you get in 88. But the mid-90s is kind of what you're getting. And then remake-wise... your late 90s, you're getting the Dark Castle 2 films.
Yeah.
That we got from Dark Castle because they realized that didn't work. So we're just gonna move on from this and not make any more of those fucking pieces of shit. I know there are people out there. Look, I really like House on Haunted Hill, and that's the OG Dark Castle film is House on Haunted Hill, and I like that movie because that movie's fucking weird. And that movie, and it embraces its weirdness. Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey Rush rules in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the remake.
Yeah, the remake of House on Haunted Hill, not the original one with Vincent Price.
Yeah.
The remake,
which is still good.
Oh, it's good, but the House on Haunted Hill from '99, I think.
Yeah. With Ali Larter and is that Taye Diggs?
Taye Diggs, Bridget Wilson,
Chris Kattan,
Famke Janssen,
and then Jeffrey Rush, who plays a very good replacement for Vincent Price. He's actually super fucking creepy.
Oh yeah, no, Jeffrey Rush is the main reason to watch that movie. Yeah, Jeffrey Combs.
Is in that movie, yeah, because he plays Dr. Vannicut.
Oh, what's his name with the eyebrows?
Peter's. Oh my God, it's gonna be on the tip of my tongue. Fucking.
Peter Gallagher.
That's it. There it is. Peter Gallagher.
Yeah. He's in that movie too.
Yeah. You know, with the eyebrows.
Yeah, Lisa Loeb, James Marsters.
Yeah. At the very beginning of that movie, because you can barely tell it's James Marsters because half the time he's on screen, he has a camera pointer. He has a camera.
I mean, you know, it's Lisa Loeb because she's got glasses.
She's got the glasses and the voice.
Yeah, but like. That movie's fucking weird. It has like the weirdest imagery and shit. And
the way they did the ghosts where they were was like a mirror image, almost like a Rorschach test.
Yeah. And then they would show like people that the house had taken and stuff like that. The next movie they come out with like 2 years later is 13 Ghosts.
Now, this is where we're going to split opinions on this, and neither one of us are wrong because, you know, it's just a difference of opinion. I liked 13 Ghosts. It's definitely on my list of movies that I watch around Halloween.
I don't like that movie. Like Matthew Lillard's cool, and like there's like a good kill in it. There's probably two. No, there's like 3 good kills in it.
There's 3.
I think there's like 3 good kills. There's the lawyer splitting. It's
the lawyer
good.
splitting. Yeah.
F. Murray Abraham's kill is pretty good when he gets split apart, and then in Beth Davids.
Beth Davids.
Yeah, when she gets smushed.
Yeah.
That movie is that movie's fucking boring to me. Like, it's got some cool stuff, but like, I'm fucking falling asleep. Like I watched it recently. Like I used to like it when I was like in high school, and then I rewatched it later on. I'm like, this movie isn't that good. It's like the characters are fucking terrible. Like,
well, that's
the
because
worst.
Like the nanny is
the
dumb.
nanny sucks. The kid sucks. Shannon Elizabeth is a nothing fucking character.
Yeah,
Tony Shalhoub is a little bit more of a character, but not as much. Matthew Lillard is like a full-fledged character.
He's the only character in that.
Him and F. Murray Abraham are the only full-fledged characters in that movie.
I like the lore surrounding the 13 Ghosts, but
but it's not explored that much.
Yeah,
you have to watch the fucking behind-the-scenes things.
Yeah, it's in a DVD feature, and it's like,
fuck
okay,
off, dude.
Yeah, you should put that in. You should put that in the movie because it's actually cool.
Yeah, fuck that movie, dude. The Dark Zodiac is cool, and then they basically just gloss over like, oh, this. I'm like, that's way more interesting. Do that instead. This is way cooler.
Yeah, make that movie.
Yeah, make a TV show about the Dark Zodiac. I'd watch it. Yeah. Like, as long as those people aren't in this movie, I'm good.
Yeah.
The house is kind of cool.
The house is really cool. It's actually one of the it's the weirdest set ever because they had the way, since everything's made of glass, the way they had to do the lighting was just really
well.
Weird.
There's a reason. It tracks really well when you realize that the guy who directed those movies, which is Steve Beck, he directed 2 movies for Dark Castle, 13 Ghosts being one and the other being Ghost Ship. And I was like, oh, that fucking tracks. That tracks so hard.
Listen. Ghost. I'm not saying Ghost Ship is a good movie. I'm actually. It's very far from a good movie. It
sucks.
It's still. I consider it one of my guilty pleasures. The opening scene is the fucking best.
Oh, you mean the only good scene in the whole movie?
Yeah, probably.
And then like the end with the Mudvayne needle drop.
Yeah, that needle drop was awesome though.
Yeah, when Ferriman's like walking, like when they're taking the gold out of the ship.
Yeah, and Juliana Margulies is being loaded in the back of the
no,
and then the door slams.
And it's like, I stand.
Yeah,
yeah, it's fucking awesome. But like that movie fucking blows. Dude, that movie's boring.
But look at the people that are in that movie.
Oh no,
right?
and
it's a great cast, terrible script.
But it's like, oh, it's so the worst script. Like, because nobody in that movie is really established except for Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah,
like because this is pre Lord of the Rings. Carl Urban.
This was just after Juliana Margulies left ER.
Yes,
yeah.
It's like the first thing it's one of the first things she did.
She fucking hated that movie.
Oh yeah, she hated.
Well, because she read a script, got the script, and then as they're on their way to the filming locations, they hand her the new script, and she's like, "This isn't the movie that I signed on for." And I'm like, "Well, this is the movie you're doing." And she's like, "Well, then I'm gonna fucking phone this shit in." And she did, and she basically said that right after the movie came out. She was just like,
"What's funny is her phoning it in is still probably some of the best performances in the movie."
Yeah,
you know, like the movie fucking sucks, dude. Oh man,
like I said, man, it's one of my guilty pleasures. If I see it on a streaming service, I'm just and I got nothing else better to watch. I'm like, fuck it, it's Ghost Ship time.
But then we got, and then after like that, because like the last, I mean, they made movies for a while. And they made some good ones, like original movies, because like Orphan was made by Dark Castle.
Oh yeah, it wasn't made by Dark Castle.
But one of the other remakes they did was House of Wax.
Yeah. Well, we're to the point where we have to talk about House of Wax.
God, that movie fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That is one of the worst scripts I have ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I could go on and on about how much I fucking hate. Well, I don't get House of Wax. It makes no fucking sense. Because the director of that movie ends up directing Orphan.
Yeah.
Which Orphan fucking rules. And then the people who wrote House of Wax wrote The Conjuring. So what that tells me is that the studio got heavily involved and we're going to fuck this movie up.
Yeah. House of Wax, the pre-studio House
It's
of Wax
probably a good movie.
might have been really good.
You know, like,
but then they threw the scene in where Paris Hilton takes her clothes off, and it's just like, why are we doing this?
I mean, her kill is good. There's some good kills.
Yeah, because doesn't she get the pipe driven through her head? Yeah,
and then she like slides down the pipe. It's like a good kill. Like she has some.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, man. Fuck this movie. Like the end is cool because it's so stupid because it has the house that's melting.
Yeah.
But like that, like that, I'm like into. Like, but fuck that movie. The movie fucking sucks, man.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. And then after you do the Dark Castle movies, and then we get into the early 2000s where we get Platinum Dunes, which is we're remaking all the fucking movies.
Yeah.
So we start with Texas Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw.
It is what it is.
It's fine. Like I don't hate it,
but I don't love it.
And Texas Chainsaw is one of my favorite movies. I fucking love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Texas Chainsaw, it's fine. I don't think it's egregious. It's just a lot of people don't like it. Some people do. You know,
it follows the exact same recipe.
Like, I think they do different stuff with it that makes it interesting. I think like the main characters are fine. Jessica Biel's fine. But I think he's interesting. Eric Balfour is a fucking nothing character.
He's a completely nothing character.
I think Mike Vogel is a pretty decent character.
He's all right.
They keep him around for a while and stuff like that. And the house in the remake is way cooler because that's the one with the columns.
Yeah, it actually looks like the plantation.
That house fucking rules. Yeah. I love that house. So then we have that, and then we have the Amityville Horror remake with Ryan Reynolds. It's what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
who was his wife? Who played his wife?
Melissa George.
Melissa George. Okay. And I'm like, I don't know. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's not the original. It's not fucking Margot Kidder and Charles Brolin. I mean,
yeah.
it's just not. Or James Brolin.
James Brolin.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's not that. You know, it's not as scary as that.
No.
Like it's just, then we have movies like the Friday the 13th remake, which I'm going to defend.
I will defend with you also.
Yeah, because I think that movie does different stuff, and it does enough different stuff. It basically takes the entire franchise and smashes it into one movie.
Yep.
It does some really cool kills, because I really like the sleeping bag kill where he's over the campfire.
Yeah.
Like, that's... The opening scene in that movie fucking rules. The opening sequence where he kills all those campers.
Yeah.
Fucking... Like, they could do that as a short film, and it would be fucking awesome.
And I've said it before, I'm not saying it's the best Friday the 13th movie, because there are other movies in the original franchise that are better.
It's like middle of the pack for me.
But it is 100% better... like 200% better than the original Friday.
I mean, if you put the original Friday the 13th in that one, I probably watched the 09.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
And plus, it's the last time we got to see fucking Jason Voorhees in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, like they haven't made. I mean, hopefully that's changing soon.
Yeah.
But they haven't made a new Friday the 13th movie since 2009.
Yeah.
You know, and then we get fucking Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010. God damn, that movie fucking sucks.
I hated the rope-a-dope that they were trying to pull on us in the second act of the movie, where they were trying to portray Freddy as as he was innocent. And
if they would have went full force into that, I would have been like, yep, I think that is an interesting thing to do. Like that he was innocent the whole time and they burned him alive innocently, and now this is his revenge. That I can get behind, but the bullshit where they 50-50 it, fuck you.
Yeah,
you guys aren't man enough to just go all the way. And I don't know, maybe make a movie with interesting characters.
I'm really upset because Because Jackie O'Haley at that time was the hotness. He'd just come off the Watchmen.
He is doing everything he can in
With that
movie.
script.
He's in a bad movie, but he's trying his best.
The same thing with Rooney, because Rooney Mara was the girl, was the final.
Yeah,
girl.
because it was Rooney Mara, and then Katie Cassidy played Tina.
Yeah, and those are all three big
fucking
actors.
Kyle Garner's in that movie.
Kyle Garner
fucking rules in everything he's in.
And they're all trying to work the best magic that they
They're
can. But the
young.
problem is they can't. And they're fine. They're good in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the movie was written fucking terribly.
It's horrible.
It's
because
fucking
it basically
horrible.
just replays all the best scenes from Friday or from Nightmare on Elm Street. It does, and they're done worse.
Yeah.
Because you have there are people out there that actually think that him coming through the wall is done better in the new one. I disagree. I think whatever, think what you want to think, but I completely disagree with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to bash my head against a table just to try and get in the mindset of people who think that any parts of that movie are better.
The only thing I think that was done better is Connie Britton plays her mom.
Yeah.
And so in the original, when she gets pulled through the door, it's pretty fake looking.
Yeah.
It looks like a dummy's getting pulled through the door.
Yep.
Whereas in the new one, when she gets pulled through the mirror, when his claws go through her eyes and her mouth, I think that looks cool. I think that was an upgrade for me. But that is the only thing in that movie that's an upgrade.
That's the only thing nice you're going to say about that movie.
But the opening to that movie is good. The opening to that movie is fucking fire. Just the rest of that movie sucks. But the opening to that movie is because it's not Kyle Gallner, it's the other kid. It's the one that plays the Todd character. Yeah. When he's in the diner, that sequence is so fucking good. It's actually really scary. But I can't remember that kid's name. But that sequence is really scary. But Jackie O'Haley, he's trying his best. He'd been in, he was kind of he was the new thing. He had just done Watchmen. Everybody was super into Jackie O'Haley. And they make that movie, and they basically, they in the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies, they're kind of just he's probably a pedophile.
Yeah.
But we're not going to say it out loud. Whereas that movie says it out loud.
Yeah. And then so in 2009, I don't know if this is Platinum Dunes also, but it seems like it would be because they remade Black Christmas.
No, that was not a Platinum
Was
Dunes.
that not Platinum Dunes?
That movie fucking sucks, too.
Also, that's why I was I'm not sure if it's Platinum Dunes because it's garbage.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's garbage.
It's got a good cast because it's got
Michelle Trachtenberg, Mary
Elizabeth Winstead's in that movie. Rumor Willis is in that movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember Katie Cassidy is the main girl.
Is she in there
She's
also?
the main girl. Yeah,
Shout out to Katie Cassidy for the second time on this podcast.
She's a fucking scream queen. I mean,
she is.
Yeah, that's what she does. I wish she was.
Lacey Chabert was in that.
Yeah, I forgot Lacey Chabert was in that too. That movie fucking sucks because it's fucking because they take this. It's so stupid because basically that movie takes Claire, the first victim in the original Black Christmas, right? She's the girl that gets fucking suffocated with the plastic. At the very beginning of that movie, they make her the killer, and it's her and Billy are brother and sister. That movie fucking is garbage. Oh yeah, and fucking what's her Carrie Fisher is the fucking house mom.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, that movie blows, dude. God, I forgot about that. I forgot about that remake because the fucked up thing is they remade it again, and it was worse.
Somehow
worse.
Yeah, because it was because then they remade it again in 2019. It's they decided to do is what we're gonna do this every 10 years.
It's like Sorority Row. That was a remake of House on Sorority Row.
Well, yeah.
Which is House on Sorority Row. Is
literally the only person in the 2019 Black Christmas that has done anything else is Imogen Poots, which is a funny name to say.
It is. But yeah, and also another Platinum. I don't know if you've ever seen the original, but they remade The Hitcher.
Oh, I've never remade The Hitcher.
The original Hitcher is fucking awesome because it's C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer.
Oh, I have seen this movie.
Yeah, that movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
And then they remake it in 2008 or something like that. And it's Sean Bean plays the Rutger Hauer role. But instead of it just being C. Thomas Howell, it's Sophia Bush and whoever the main guy is. Which, in my opinion, changes the entire like the entire reason that movie's scary.
Yeah.
Like, because the reason that movie's scary is because it's this one guy that is like by himself on a highway trying to escape this fucking crazy motherfucker that won't leave him alone.
Yeah.
You know? And it's Rutger Hauer. He's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, Sean Bean is not as scary as Rutger Hauer is.
No. Sean Bean looks like a type of guy you want to sit down and have a pint with.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer's weird looking.
But speaking of, just popped into my head another remake that may or may not be. It depends if whether or not people want to put it as better than the original. Fright Night. This also came out in like the late 2000s.
I think that there are portions of the new Fright Night that are better than the original.
I think Anton Yelchin's better as Charlie.
That's where I disagree. I think I like the original Charlie. I actually like Colin Farrell better than Chris Sarandon.
Colin Farrell is better because he's a better actor than Chris Sarandon.
But like,
I have an immense amount of love for Chris Sarandon because he's been in some of my favorite movies, throughout. My cinema.
He's in fucking Child's Play, for Christ's sake.
He's in Child's Play. He's in A Princess Bride. He's in Fright Night. I love Chris Sarandon. Is he a great actor? No,
He's fine.
not at all. He's okay.
He's all right.
He's fine. He's still making money.
He's just not as scary. Like Colin Farrell's scary.
Colin Farrell's scary.
In the 2009.
2009.
Like he's fucking scary. And then like
But Charlie's mom is far superior in the new one.
Oh yeah, she's great in the new one.
Yeah, because that's Colette, was it?
Toni Collette?
Toni Collette.
Yeah,
that's
Toni
what I was
Collette,
looking for.
Well, but she basically plays the same where she's like, oh man, he's so dreamy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's so handsome. And then you have, what's his name? He was in fucking Planet of the Apes. He played the dude who hosted the TV show. He was he was like the Van Helsing.
Oh, and okay, so in the original, it was
Roddy
McDowell.
Roddy McDowell, yeah.
And then in the new one, it's David Tennant.
And David Tennant fucking rules in that
David
movie.
Tennant is so fucking awesome in
But
that
Roddy
movie.
McDowell is fucking great.
He's great. I'm not saying he's not great, but David Tennant is, because he's playing that. He's playing Chris Angel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Angel.
Yeah,
for
he's
the
like
second time.
he's like a magician.
He's a stage magician.
Whereas like Roddy McDowell was like a host of like a supernatural
Like,
television show.
Yeah, well, he was like Elvira.
Yeah, that the kid that
Charlie Brewster.
that kid Charlie fucking watched or whatever.
But then the other on the flip side of the coin, a worse casting for that was Christopher Mintz-Plasse. I couldn't stand him as Evil Ed. I was so he was he was so overbearing.
But I do love the ending of the original Fright Night.
Oh yeah,
the ending is so fucking good.
And they kind of tried to capture that a little bit. It didn't hit as
hard.
Good as the original.
Like him laying in bed with that girl, and then Roddy McDowell being on the television screen, basically, like,
and you hear this like this Vincent Price type laugh.
It's so fucking good.
And then she was the girl from Married with Children. What was her name? Not the wife, the one he always made fun of for having no tits.
Oh, it was her
Amanda Beard,
something like that.
Yeah. So she played Charlie Brewster's girlfriend in the original, and at the very end, you hear this laugh. It freeze frames on her with the glowy eyes and the fangs, and then tried to do the same thing with Imogen Poots, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it did
because she's not as intimidating as Amanda Beard.
No, well, it was funny when they were making that movie. So Tom Holland, not Spider-Man. There was a director.
Yeah, there's a director named Tom Holland.
He directed Child's Play and he directed Fright Night and stuff like that. And he also directed some of the Psycho sequels, which were actually really good.
Yeah,
the ones that
I like the second one.
Yeah, because Perkins came back and he was heavily involved in those. He was very particular about how the character was played.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland directs that movie. And he's, they're getting ready. They're doing like the final sequence in the house where they're in the middle of making this movie, and they have the poster ready for it already, which is the iconic poster of Fright Night where it's the house and it's the girl with the big piranha teeth or whatever. And he's like,
that is such a fucking cool poster.
And then he was like, you know what? We don't have anybody that looks like that in the movie. Why don't we just do it now? And that's where they filmed the basement scene.
Yeah,
that they were like, we got to do the basement scene where there's got to be somebody in this movie that looks like that. Yeah. So that's where they did that basically on the fly.
Yeah.
Just a cool little side note about Fright Night. Yeah, and then we do these Platinum Dunes movies. They don't work. It's Michael Bay and a couple of other guys that decided to do this. Now, I mean, they're still making Platinum Dunes movies, and it's basically just Michael Bay's movies now.
Yeah.
Because like the Turtles movies came out through the Platinum Dunes.
Yeah. Michael Bay continuing to this day trying to destroy my childhood.
And then they do, and then after that we get like, we go into like the late 2010s, and we get movies like the Suspiria remake.
Yeah.
Which I think is...
It's fine.
It's fine. It's different. Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking long.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson's really good. Like, Tilda Swinton fucking rules in that movie.
Yeah, my problem is that Dario did such cool things with what he had available with the stark colors.
The ending of that Suspiria remake is the craziest shit I've ever fucking seen, though. I love the ending. And then also in 2013, we get the Evil Dead remake.
Well, yeah, we forgot to talk about one of the most infamous remakes in horror history. We had the Evil Dead from the 1980s.
Yeah, 81.
81.
And then
in
like 87, we get Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2,
which is a remake of Evil Dead.
Which is, but he billed it as a sequel.
Yeah.
But then we fast forward to 2013, and we get arguably one of the best remakes.
It's one of my favorites.
It's one of the best remakes of all time.
Because it's like, hey, let's take Evil Dead. Let's take all of everything that's in Evil Dead. Let's just play it straight.
Yeah, let's just...
It's not funny at all.
And let's just turn it up to 11.
Yeah. It's because it's so fucking gory.
Yeah.
It has some of the goriest shit I've ever fucking seen in a movie.
Which, going off of the playing it straight thing, that's one of my biggest problems between... So they make Cabin Fever during the 2000s, and then they decide to remake Cabin Fever in 2016. And that they do the same thing where they're like, we're going to play it straight and make nothing funny, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So
the thing about Cabin Fever is there are certain things that are funny, but the main characters are playing it straight.
Yeah.
It's the side characters that are making it funny. So it's like Eli Roth. It's the fucking weird kid from the gas station, and all the guys that work at the gas station.
Well, and you get the one funny friend. It's
but I mean,
played by one of the DeLuise kids.
That's like a normal teen comedy. You're gonna have the two couples
and
the guy that's alone. That's the comic relief. But there are the side characters in that movie are what makes it super funny.
Yeah,
because you get like the fucking the scene when they're taking care of the dude that's infected is some of the funniest shit I've ever fucking seen. But also, it's like Giuseppe Andrews as the cop on the bike. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Eli Roth is hilarious. All those guys at the gas station are
fucking party man.
Yeah, you guys like to party?
I like to party.
Yeah, like that guy. Yeah, all of those people are fucking are the comedy of this movie. Whereas like Ryder Strong and what's his name from Super Troopers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're all like playing it straight.
Yeah,
you know? like, and that's why that movie fucking rules. You can't.
Yeah,
that movie doesn't work like that because Evil Dead is. They're not playing it straight. You know that this is supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Evil Dead remake is like, now we're removing all the comedy.
Anything that makes you feel good, we're taking that out.
We're gonna do all the scenes. We're gonna do the tree rape scene. We're gonna do her in the basement. In the cellar. All that stuff.
That fucking scene with the razor knife.
Yeah, it's bad. Like. That
bifurcating her own tongue. It was so gross.
You have like the dude getting the needles in his eyes.
Yeah, which I couldn't watch. I'm assuming that happened because I had to close my eyes.
And then you get the girl with the fucking electric knife because her hand's all fucking infected. But like some of my favorite shit is at the end with well, obviously I love that movie because Jane Levy's in it, and I love Jane Levy. She rules so hard. I missed her when they got rid of her in Shameless. I also love her in Don't Breathe. She fucking rules. I love Jane Levy. Fede Alvarez fucking loves putting her in shit. She's been in almost every movie he's ever done. But her, like that end scene when she basically becomes Ash.
Yeah, with the chainsaw.
With the chainsaw. It's one of the greatest chainsaw deaths I've ever seen in a fucking movie. It's the coolest shit. It's chainsaw down the middle.
Yeah.
But it's through the mouth. It fucking rules. It's raining blood. I mean, me and Shane watched that movie for the first time, and he was like, and when we got done, he was like, "That is the craziest shit I've ever fucking seen." I was like, "That movie fucking ruled, dude."
Yeah.
I love the Evil Dead remake. And then we get to like to the point where it was like where a lot of original stuff's coming back. or we're doing a lot of like original stuff. But we can kind of talk about like some of our favorites, some of our least favorites.
I feel like this one is wasn't a movie remake, but it was a I figured you would have brought this up. It.
Yeah, see, I have a difficult thing when it comes to Stephen King stuff because you can talk about like with It, both of those movies are adaptations of a book. Mm-hmm. So like when you're talking about like some of the Stephen King stuff, so like you can look at like The Shining from 1980, but you can also look at The Shining from 1997,
the made for TV
movie, which is they're both adaptations of the book. Mm-hmm. They're different, but I don't know if I would consider them remakes. It's the same thing of saying like with Carrie. You have like Carrie from 77, I think 77. And then you have the Carrie made for TV movie from 2002. And then you have
the Carrie that was that early
2013 with Chloe Grace Moretz. That movie is pretty much like a shot-for-shot remake. Of Carrie, and it's not good. The made-for-TV movie is really good, but that's where I kind of like get weary about talking about those as remakes because I feel like they're not really remaking the movie; they're just making another movie based on the source material. So that's where I get kind of iffy about it. It's the same thing with Thing. I didn't really want to talk about The Thing as much because. Is The Thing a remake of A Thing from Another World, or is it another adaptation
of the story,
original story
that The Thing from Another World was based off?
Exactly. So that's where I get kind of iffy about that.
Yeah.
Whereas like The Fly is a remake of The Fly. It's a remake of that movie. Like Dawn of the Dead. When we talk about that, Dawn of the Dead is a remake of the original Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
From the 70s. Yeah. It's not based on another story.
That's a 50-50 one because there were a lot of people that really liked the Zack Snyder. Was it 2007?
2006.
2006? Yeah, there was a lot of people that liked 2006. I'm one of them. I also like the 78 version as well. But there are a lot of people who didn't like the 2006 because they changed too much. They added too many characters. And actually, I like the fact that they added more characters. That's why I like
that movie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real with you.
They have more interesting characters in the remake than they did in the original.
I like that movie better than the original.
I like them on the same level because they're telling a story, but they're just telling it differently.
They have some characters that are cool in the original version. Like Savini and Ken Foray and stuff like that. But I don't know, the characters that are in the remake are just better to me. Because you have like fucking like Ty Burrell is an interesting character.
Yeah, even though he's an ass. He's the only time in cinematic history he's played an asshole.
Yeah. And then what's her name? Sarah Pauli, I think, is an interesting character.
Jake Weber is not an interesting character. He's that's only because I'm just not a huge Jake Weber fan. So.
Ving Rhames is a very interesting character. I think Michael Kelly is one of my favorite characters.
He's the best character in that movie.
He's my favorite character in that movie. Yeah. He fucking rules. Like the end scene with him is he fucking saves everybody. Like
fucking figures.
Yeah, boom. Like he fucking rules. Like because you get this sense of him.
And I fit. What are we in a fucking nursery school? Into my lexicon all the time because he says that in the movie like a couple times.
You get this instinct of him right at the beginning where you meet him and he's kind of like a redneck dude and you're like, oh, this guy's gonna suck. This guy's gonna be the worst.
Yeah,
and they completely
he comes off as like a complete asshole. He's a control freak asshole who just.
But then they flip it on his head and he's like, and it's like, oh, he's like a part of our group. He's gonna help us.
To steal a line from Ben Kissel, boom, flip it.
Yeah, that's what they did. They completely flipped his character on his head, and that's why I like it. I'm like, that is a neat way to do that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm not the biggest Zack Snyder fan. Like he's made some he's
made some good movies. He's made
some pretty bad movies. Yeah. like I mean, I'm not gonna say that he hasn't made bad movies, but I like what he did with that movie, and also the zombies are fucking scary in that movie.
Well, and there's that goes into the change that they made. Whereas the Dawn of the Dead from 78 is more about creeping dread and consumerism. This is supposed to be abject terror. That's the difference between the two.
That movie is actually fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like the opening sequence in the house.
Yeah,
with
when Sarah Pauly.
Yeah, is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, with the little girl. And
Yeah.
her,
It's fucking like her husband like fucking jumping on the car and stuff like that.
that scene where she falls back into the tub, not scripted.
Yeah.
She slipped and fell, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna keep that because it looks real."
It's fucking terrible. Yeah, because like that scene when she slips in the tub and she has the shower curtain over her, and he's like coming through.
Yeah,
the
and she's
shower
like holding it. Yeah,
it's god damn.
Yeah.
That's some scary shit, dude. That movie fucking rules.
yeah. Speaking of another Romero remake, and we've already talked about this, off mic or whatever, but you're not a fan of either one of the versions. I like both of them, but the Crazies.
Yeah, I don't like the Crazies.
Crazies came out between. It was Romero directing a movie between Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. The original version. Have you ever seen a movie called The Andromeda Strain?
No.
The Andromeda Strain is not. People call it a classic movie. It's not a good movie. It's supposed to be. It reminds me a lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It felt like a long form commercial for look at the technology that we have, but this is also filmed in like the 70s, so it was there were a lot of long shots and a lot of not dialogue. Whereas I think it was like 2007, 2008 version. Maybe it was 2010. I don't remember.
The Crazies?
The Crazies.
It was 2010.
2010. Okay. It was better. They just had the characters were better. It was better acted. I'm a huge Timothy Olyphant fan, so they got Timothy Olyphant. Daniel Panabaker was in that movie.
That movie was just boring to me.
Well, it was another take on like the zombies and stuff like that. And again, you're not a zombie guy, but I am. But these weren't actually zombies because they were just like infected humans that were like rabid or whatever. So
I just get kind of over the whole zombie thing. It's just I don't know. I just don't get it. It's just not my favorite thing. Like the only time I really get into a zombie movie is like if you do something different. If you do something completely different.
Which is why I think the Zack Snyder movie sits so highly with you because that was like kind of the introduction of like it wasn't the introduction of the fast zombies, but it was bringing them into the 2000s.
Well, it's because it's so like character driven, and if a movie is character driven, and I mean I like the remake of Night of the Living Dead. It's like because that movie is somewhat character driven. It's not as character driven as Dawn of the Dead, in my opinion. But like if you do something different, like a Zombieland. Zombieland is a different take on zombies, so I think it's fun. They're also not trapped in a place. They're
on the road.
They're on the road. They're just that movie fucking just moves.
Yeah, like
literally, and
it's one of the most character driven zombie movies.
Exactly. You have
made.
like all these characters. Then like after that, we're getting like I said, we're getting a lot of original movies after that. I guess like the most recent one would be like the Hellraiser remake. Which I thought was pretty decent.
That was made into a series though, wasn't it?
No, it was just a movie.
Was it a movie?
Yeah, it was on Hulu. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was kind of cool. They did some different stuff. Like Barker was at least kind of there as much as he could be.
I mean, Pinhead a female, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have a problem with.
I didn't have a problem with it either.
But Clive Barker was involved as much as he could be because he's like in a fucking wheelchair now.
Yeah.
But he was as involved as he could be. They took a lot of the stuff from his book and made it more put more of it into the movie than even the original did, which I thought was cool. I thought it was neat. It wasn't like the greatest movie in the world, but I was like, they did something different. I appreciate you. Yeah. Other than that, I can't really think of any ones that I'm like, oh, that remake or that remake.
Yeah.
So I guess we could talk about like ones that.
Well, let's talk about the most recent remake. We just watched this one like a week ago.
Yeah,
Nosferatu. Fucking mint movie.
Yeah, that movie
great.
Fucking rules.
Yeah, it was so fucking awesome. I love the fact that they paid homage to the fact that the original Nosferatu is very old, filmed in black and white. This movie wasn't filmed in black and white, but they used a lot of lens filters to drain a lot of the color out, so it looked black and white.
That movie is one of the most gorgeous fucking movies I've ever fucking seen.
It really is.
Like,
I did not like the mustache.
I didn't have a problem with the mustache.
The mustache
like,
bothered the shit out of me. I don't know why.
I thought Skarsgård
was awesome.
He did that voice for realsies.
Yeah.
Like that was his voice.
Yeah.
He trained for a very long time
Yeah.
to do that voice. I thought all of the all of the acting in that movie was fucking phenomenal.
See, I thought, okay, so
because I loved Lily Rose Depp.
Lily Rose
She
Depp was fine.
so good.
To me, I think it could have been literally anybody else, and it would have been.
I think she kills it with a lot of those.
I think the
scenes.
person who knocked it out of the park the most in that movie was Nicholas Hoult, though.
Oh my god,
Nicholas Hoult was
fucking awesome. It was nice to see him not play a douchebag for once. So because he's
Well, he
usually
didn't play douchebag in the X-Men movies.
Yeah, but since then that's all he's played.
Yeah.
There's that. You I thought he was fucking great. I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson fucking ruled.
Aaron
in that
Taylor
movie.
Johnson was the fucking
Yeah, like he actually got to be English for once.
Yep.
I thought, what's her name that plays his
Jesus Christ.
Emma Corrin. Emma
Emma Corrin. Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was.
Sorry,
great.
they were great.
Yeah, they were great. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot that she's like non-binary. Okay. And I thought obviously Defoe was fucking awesome in that movie. Innocent fucking killed it. You know, but I love Ralph Ineson anytime he's in a movie.
Yeah, he's great.
Like he just has this voice.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that movie was really fucking good. I've watched it twice already.
Yeah.
I will say maybe a little too long. Maybe it could be cut a little bit.
A few of the lingering shots could have been cut out, and you would have cut out 10 minutes.
I think there's a little bit too much stuff of Nicholas Hoult at Orlok's castle. They could cut a little bit of that.
Yeah.
A little tiny bit. Other than that, I really didn't have a problem with that movie. Like Eggers is like this filmmaker that's really just like hitting me in my soul.
Yeah.
Like every movie he's made, I've just been so into. But yeah, I really liked Nosferatu. I thought it was fucking great.
Yep, I thought it was great too.
I thought they did good things. They paid homage to the original.
They sure did.
They did the shadow with the hand,
the
but it was
shadow.
different.
Because they did the shadow over the whole city. Yeah.
Some of the shots in that movie are just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I really liked it. But yeah, we could talk about like some of our favorites, some of our least favorites.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of our least favorites together.
Yeah. Like some of my favorites are like we were talking about it. I really love the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah.
I think the Evil Dead remake is fucking. Oh man, because it's so much fun. It's such a fun movie.
Yeah.
But it's not fun at the same time. Like it's so serious, but it's like fuck it. We're going
We're
there.
on whole hog. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate what that movie does, and I love a lot of the performances in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I also love like the Necronomicon, how it's like wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah.
The opening scene to that movie
Fucking rules. Yeah.
with the girl tied up in the fucking shed. God, that's so cool.
I do appreciate in Evil Dead Rise how the Necronomicon looks different. Like they're supposed, like almost like there's two books.
But also that in that, remember they had the fucking they had the
tape.
The tape.
And it's Bruce Campbell on the tape.
Yeah,
that's dictating.
That's
the thing.
so fucking
It was a nice touch.
Yeah, it was
nice
fucking
touch.
sweet. I really loved that. God, that movie fucking rules.
Yeah. And it's probably one of the best title cards in
and Evil Dead Rise. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. They're doing a new one. I
Get
believe.
ready to do a new one,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm into it. It's one of those movie series that I'm just like, yep, they haven't made a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like Army of Darkness isn't like my super favorite, but I still enjoy
Well, Army of
it.
Darkness, just
too far for
Pretend
me.
like Army of Darkness doesn't exist in the same universe as Evil Dead, and you're fine.
That movie just goes too far for me. It goes a little too far to the Looney
It's a
Tunes.
little too campy.
Yeah, it's a little too Looney Tunes
But
for me.
you get Bill Moseley.
No, I don't mind the movie. It's just
Yeah.
not. It's just if I was to be honest, if I was ranking Evil Dead movies, that would probably be last for me personally. I would, because it'd be like probably like two OG.
The movie's tone is completely different. That's why when I'm ranking Evil Dead movies, I don't even put that in a ranking because I feel like the only thing that makes that an Evil Dead movie is the fact that Ashley Williams is in that movie.
Well,
if it had been
also Deadites.
Well, yeah, but really, it's a different kind of Deadites because they're all like rising from the grave.
The end of that movie is fucking great.
The end of the movie's great.
Yeah, like when
and we get that "Hail to the King, baby." That's like my favorite.
I mean, it's the scene in S-Mart. It's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
and then groovy. Yeah, that's the amount of one-liners that come out of Army of Darkness that Ash Williams says is just great.
I mean, probably my favorite line from the Evil Dead series is probably in 2, which is "Swallow this."
Yeah,
I will swallow your soul.
swallow this. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of fucking great lines in Army of Darkness. Shop smart, shop S smart.
Yeah. I basically said the words.
I basically said the words. I do like the dead
You're
eye.
good, Ash. I'm bad, Ash. You're good little two shoes, Ash.
He's such a
Good,
he's
bad. I'm the guy with the
I'm
gun.
the guy with the gun.
Yeah, another, fucking fantastic movie.
Yeah, he's such a douchebag in that movie.
He really
Like,
is. Yeah.
that's the most, other than like Ash versus Evil Dead, that's the most douchebaggy he is
Yeah.
in the entire series. And then my other favorites are probably I Love the Fly.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like one of my favorite movies. Period. I'm not gonna say The Thing because The Thing is iffy. I love The Blob. I think The
Yeah.
Blob is fantastic.
Yeah.
Then like and Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I really like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
But like the worst ones, bro,
Yeah.
let's talk about Psycho. Bro.
Here we go.
Like, okay.
We take a movie like Psycho and shoot it shot by shot, only we add more.
Butts.
You know, this movie needs more
I think
butts.
James on Dead Meat said that he was like, this movie's real good. Why don't we put more butts in it?
Yeah.
like fucking Anne Heche's asshole.
Yeah.
Like
from
Seth Rogen
top
made
down.
a Twitter account for
called
Anne Heche's asshole.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I want to have just, like, it's so funny. I think Gus Van Sant, like, just got a bunch of fuck you money with Good Will Hunting and said, fuck it, this is my shitpost movie. Fuck that movie.
Oh God, yeah. Psycho's pretty bad.
What are some other fucked up? Oh, House of Wax.
House of Wax is
hate
fucking
House of-
terrible.
Oh, the one we didn't talk about, The Fog.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. There's not. I like some of the actors that are in The Fog.
Well, yeah, there's
Tom Welling is good.
and Maggie Grace
Maggie Grace is good.
are in The Fog.
And then I don't remember what the guy that played the captain, in the remake. I don't remember what his name is. He's like fucking Russian or something like that. He's really good, but he's barely in the movie. So like,
I mean, I don't know. It's just hard to stack up with the people,
The original.
the people that are just even the cast that are in
Yeah.
the Fog, the original Fog. You know, like Tom, our drunk dad, Tom Atkins,
yeah, and Adrian Barbeau.
Jamie Lee Curtis for like a scene,
Yeah.
and then Hal Hallberg fucking rules in that movie.
Yeah.
That movie fucking sucks. Hills Have Eyes. I'm kind of like. About.
I'm 50-50
I'm like
on that.
50-50 on it. Like
There's parts of it I love, and there's parts of it I don't love.
yeah, the only problem I have with it is they don't focus a lot on. They don't. The cool thing about the original was you knew the names of the
The hill people.
the hill people because you had like Jupiter and Pluto and stuff like because Jupiter was like he was fucking Michael Berryman, wasn't he? Because he was like he was like the leader of them or whatever. And then you had Pluto. Pluto is the one that gets killed by Beauty or Beast. It was one of the dogs.
Beauty, I think.
Yeah, the one that when he goes over the hill or whatever. And then but they don't really focus on them. I mean, they have a couple of guys. I think one of them's supposed to be Pluto because I'm pretty sure it's the dude with where he's like missing his lip or whatever when they're in the trailer and stuff. I don't know. I think some of the scenes in the movie are pretty fucked up. Like the scene in the motorhome is supremely fucked up. Like the stuff with like Kathleen Quinlan and Vanessa Shaw is really fucked, and that movie's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it has a better ending, I think, than the original. Like at least, you have these two that are gonna possibly be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. They get the baby back and stuff like that.
But
It's a fine movie. I watched it not recently. I was like, this movie's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the second one sucks.
The second one's terrible.
But I don't mind. I like the cast. I mean, it's got like fucking Ted Levine and Kathleen Quinlan, Vanessa Shaw, Emily DeRaven.
Yeah. Aaron Stanford.
Aaron Stanford. It's got a good. I like the kid, the brother.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah. I think the family is very likable. I just thought, that one. Yeah, Hills Have Eyes. I'm kind of like 50-50 on that one. It's fine. I mean, it's like whatever. Nightmare on Elm Street. That's top of the heap.
That's the number one worst remake.
Sucks.
Okay, so favorite remakes for me. Obviously, I've talked about it on previous podcasts. One of my favorite remakes of all time is the 1990 version of The Night of the Living Dead. We talked about it here. It's just I think the characters are just better. They're more fleshed out. They changed the ending a little bit, but I think the ending portion that they changed, I think it works for the time that it was shot because it was all about female empowerment, and Savini wanted Barbara to be more of a badass in the remake.
You mean like a character at all?
Like an actual character who has lines and isn't a catatonic mess in a corner and doesn't just pop up at the very last minute and start trying to save herself and everyone else. I gotta say, Friday the 13th, the remake.
I'm 50-50 on it.
Yeah. I love the rope-a-dope that they have on who the final girl is going to be. So because Danielle Panabaker is I don't know if at that time she was the bigger name, but she was a pretty big. She'd been in stuff. She'd already been in stuff.
Wow. So Amanda Rigetti was like big on TV.
Yeah,
she was in a lot of shit on TV.
Same with Panabaker because she'd been through all the Disney. Was she Disney or Nickelodeon girl?
I think she was a Disney.
I think she was a Disney girl.
But I like it. Derek Mears plays a good Jason. I think he's fine. I think he's good. He's a big motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think he looks cool. I mean, they did a different thing where he's like a survivalist, like tracker and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people don't like the fact that he takes a hostage, but I was like, whatever. It's like it's fine. I don't really mind that. He still gets his fucking kills in.
Yeah.
He gets some
pretty good kills in.
There's some pretty good kills. Like, and yeah, I mean, I love seeing sibling relationships in horror movies. They don't do it enough, and I think it's interesting to do like that. That's like the whole thing with Jerry Padalecki in that movie. Is the fact that he's looking for his sister.
Yeah.
That's all he cares about. That's how he runs into those people. It's like he's
trying to give them a push.
And then like Danielle Panabaker is like she's like
the only one who actually
I want to help him.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna go help him.
Yeah, and her boyfriend sucks anyway. That guy sucks.
Yeah. He has the most punchable face in that entire movie.
Yeah, he sucks. He's like, you have the perfect nipple placement.
The perfect nipple. Your tits are like A+. God, that guy.
But yeah, I'm like 50-50 on that one. I don't like hate it, but isn't like my favorite.
Well, I definitely think that it's I think it's definitely better than the original Friday the 13th. And I would put it above some of the other Friday the 13th. I'm not saying
it's middle of the road Friday the 13th for me.
Yeah. Another one of my favorite remakes was House of Wax. I'm fucking with you. No, that movie, that motherfucker was the most pointless movie ever. No, one of my other favorite remakes. It's I gotta go with Invasion of the Bystanders. It was the ending was just. Donald Sutherland in that movie is he plays a perfect like middle management nerd that turns in, and I wouldn't even say he's a badass. He's literally just like running and trying to survive and stuff like that. He's good.
Goldblum is probably like my favorite person in that movie.
Goldblum,
and that's probably awesome. Just a me thing. I just like Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, well, Jeff Goldblum plays a perfect like.
He's
paranoid.
He's
kind of almost hippie-ish.
He is, but he has like this everyman thing about him that like cheeseburger.
And then one of my other favorite remakes is we already talked about it, the Evil Dead remake. It's just that movie's so fucking good.
It's really good. Like I said, the performances are really good.
Yep.
They really go all out. I think Jane Levy fucking rules.
Yeah,
in that
Jane
movie.
Levy's awesome.
Like I like that they did something different. Like they're not going out there for a vacation. They're going out there to fucking dry her out. Like 'cause she's addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
And I think that's neat. Like another sibling relationship in a fucking movie with Jane Levy and whatever, I can't remember the actor that plays her brother. That's like the whole reason he's out there.
Yeah.
Like he tries everything he can. Like one of my favorite scenes in that movie is when he's trying to figure out how he's going to get this out of her, and he fucking basically just kills her.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, and then he like, I'm going to kill her long enough so this thing will leave her, and then I'm going to bring her back.
Yeah.
Like that fucking rules. Like he sacrifices himself just to make sure she's safe. Mm-hmm. I love sibling relationships in a movie, and that's why House of Wax fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, which rolling right into House of Wax, that is definitely probably up there on my least favorite. I gotta put the remake of Nightmare. Definitely one of my least favorites. Yeah, but probably my least. I don't know. It's maybe 1A, 1B for me, but the remake of Cabin Fever I think it was 2016.
For me, it's just such a nothing movie.
It's because it's so.
It doesn't really.
It didn't need to be remade.
No, it doesn't really affect me as much. But it's just like it's such a nothing fucking movie.
Cabin Fever wasn't a big enough hit to justify being remade, and then they remade it, but they took all of the best parts of the original Cabin Fever out to put in more serious. And it's just like, what was the fucking point? Yeah. It didn't make money It didn't make that much money the first time. Like it made money, but I wouldn't exactly call it a fucking box office hit.
No.
And then they take out all the comedy aspects, which just makes it less entertaining. So, like, okay, Nightmare and Cabin Fever probably 1A, 1B for me. And then I got to get my honorable mention to the shitty ass direct-to-DVD Day of the Dead. If you haven't seen that movie, congratulations, you get to say that you never watched a movie that was shit from beginning to end.
Yeah, I never even watched it, to be honest.
It's not good. Just don't even bother.
Then
then they made a sequel to it called Day of the Dead Contagion. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't get it.
It might have made good money on the secondary market.
Were
It might have. You don't know.
No, they didn't.
They would have had to have made some money to make.
No, they filmed them back to back, so they didn't even wait for.
Okay.
Yeah, they were. The script was terrible for Day of the Dead.
Well, that means basically they got greenlit for 2 fucking movies.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. I guess they greenlit 2 movies back to back because they saw Dawn of the Dead, but then they took what was great about Dawn of the Dead and just got rid of it.
Like when people are talking about like Dracula and stuff like that, I'm like
we forgot to talk. That's another big remake.
I'm like the weird dude that I'm like I fucking hate Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I love the Hammer Dracula.
Yeah,
I love Hammer film Dracula. Like, give me Christopher Lee. He's my favorite Dracula.
Well, just those are 2 completely different Draculas.
I don't like Gary Oldman's Dracula.
I like Gary
I don't
Oldman's
like
Dracula.
Bela Lugosi's Dracula. I like.
Well, you can't compare Bela Lugosi to anything because Bela Lugosi at that point in time in his career was just the term hamming it up is lost on, like, if you want to know what an actor was doing when we describe an actor hamming it up, Bela Lugosi should be the poster child for hamming it up. Like, that dude.
I think the most low budget version of Dracula was the best. Like, Horror of Dracula is one of my favorite fucking like old school horror movies. Yeah. I fucking love Christopher Lee as Dracula. He's so fucking scary. Yeah. Like, he's the only person that's ever like playing that character has actually terrified me. Well, yeah, I mean that's what I think about remakes anyway.
That's what I think about remakes too. I think we're pretty much in agreement about which ones are shit, which ones were good.
Yeah, well,
yeah. We varied a little bit, but
I can't really defend the bad ones.
No, there's no defense. Just listen, Hollywood. If you're nobody in Hollywood's listening to our podcast, but I feel like they should.
I don't hate. I'm not one of those people that like immediately when they announce a remake, I'm like no.
Is there name one horror movie? Mm-hmm. At any point in time in history, they should not remake. I thought you'd have your answer right off the.
No, because I'm not one of those people. There's like a few like movies that I'm like.
Like Back to the Future, everyone universally agrees don't remake Back to the Future.
I think it's like I just don't think you should because it's. And I think that's a reason why people haven't is because like I mean, what do you do? Yeah. I mean, what do you do with a perfect movie?
Yeah,
it's the same thing with Citizen Kane. It's the reason why nobody is like full-fledged said I'm remaking Citizen Kane.
It's the same thing with Back to the Future.
Hey, you're not remaking the Godfather. What, you're going to make it better than Francis Ford Coppola?
I doubt it.
Have fun. You know,
if I had to pick one horror movie that you don't touch, you don't remake, it's got to be Scream.
Yeah,
you don't touch it.
Scream would be difficult.
Yeah,
that's why they did Scream 5.
Yeah,
it's sort of a remake, but it's not at the same time.
It's a revival.
Yeah.
Which is a distinct different than a reboot.
Yeah,
or a remake.
Yeah, I think Scream you definitely don't touch. I mean, they fucking remade most of the fucking. You know, they've remade Halloween. They've remade Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Oh God, we didn't even talk about Halloween.
Because it's such a nothing thing to me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really.
I still enjoy the second Halloween.
It's all right. But like, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just difficult to think about because they've already remade Evil Dead, and I loved Evil Dead. Like, and Evil Dead's probably like maybe Reanimator. I just don't know how you'd remake that.
Not in this day and age.
I just don't get how it would work.
Worked. The reason it worked is because it happened in the 80s. Like
Yeah, like I they haven't remade like Sleepaway Camp. I just don't think you could really even try to remake that. Or like a House of a Thousand Corpses would be weird. You could do it, but like you're not going to do it as weird as the zombie did.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. People are always going to be watching that movie, comparing it to Rob Zombie movies, and Rob Zombie's his movie is going to end up being better.
But yeah, I can't really think of one that I'm like, oh man, they should never touch that. I can't really think of one, to be honest. Like I said, I think there's some that I'm like, I don't see how it would work.
Here's one. How do we feel if they ever decide to remake They Live?
Have fun.
Yeah,
You're not going to make it as good as Carpenter did.
Yeah.
And you're not going to really get what he was trying. I don't think a lot of people even get what he was trying to do.
No.
So I don't think, what are they going to do? Like, I don't even understand how you would remake. It's like remaking Big Trouble in Little China. How?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, like they've remade some Carpenter films. Like, technically The Thing wasn't a remake, it was a prequel.
Yeah.
The one from 2011.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, the only one they've really remade is Halloween. You know, like, they haven't really touched a lot of his other stuff.
No.
Like, they're, or Assault on Precinct 13. They remade that, but I thought the remake was pretty good. I thought
it's fine.
It wasn't as grimy and dirty as the original, but I thought the cast was pretty good. Like Ethan Hawke and stuff like that. But I can't really think of one that I'm just like, don't fucking touch that movie. I just don't. I mean, I think if you're
Lawrence Fishburne.
Was it Lawrence Fishburne? I know Hawke was in it, but that was right around.
Ethan Hawke, Gabriel Byrne, Lawrence Fishburne, Maria Bello, Dre DiMattello, John Leguizamo, Brian Dennehy. Probably one of his last roles.
Probably,
Ja Rule.
I don't. But yeah, like, I just don't think anything like is off limits. Like, if you're gonna make it, and you're gonna make like a remake of something, like, do something different with it.
Yeah.
Don't have the balls to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a shot-for-shot remake. That's not why. I'll just watch the fucking original one.
Yeah.
It's like why I don't watch 1998 Psycho. I'll just watch the one from 60.
Well, you watch the 1998 Psycho just to see more butts and to see Vince Vaughn jerk it.
I know. I don't get it. It's why I watched the Carrie remake and I never watched it again because I was like, fuck it, I'll just watch the original.
Yeah, it's shot for shot.
Better.
Yeah, so
that's where I'm at with it. At least Night of the Living Dead that does something different. Dawn of the Dead does something different.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street does something different, but it's not good different. And that's kind of how I feel about it. And that's why I like The Fly a lot. The Fly does something completely different.
Yeah.
And it works so well. Same thing with The Blob. The Blob is basically that movie, except let's have characters.
Yeah, actual characters.
What a concept.
So.
But yeah, I don't think anything's off limits for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, there's nothing that I can think of in my head that I'm like, never touch that movie.
Yeah.
Because they've touched most of the big ones. They put their hands all over the big ones.
Much like me, I've touched a lot of big ones.
Yeah, but like I said, in just common movies, I think don't fuck with the classics.
Yeah,
you're never gonna make it as
better.
Good. You're never gonna make it. Don't remake Scarface because you're not gonna make it better than De Palma made it.
Yeah, De Palma. Yeah,
you're not gonna make The Godfather better. You're not gonna make Goodfellas better. Yeah. You're not gonna make Back to the Future better. You're not gonna make Citizen Kane better.
No,
sorry. I'm just going on and on about these movies, and I'm just like, just don't touch them.
Yeah.
Just for your sake, don't touch them.
Yeah. It's better for you if you just don't touch them.
Because, you could end up being, Gus Van Sant. Like, I love Gus Van Sant. He makes some good movies, but Jesus fucking Christ. Just why did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you want to hit him with your socials?
Oh, yeah. You can follow me at SmarkyMFer on Twitter and Blue Sky. I don't really get on it, but you can follow me on there. And Crit Happens 13 on Instagram.
Yep. I'm Galastraycon on all things. That's TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram. I very rarely actually use any of those socials. I'm more active on TikTok than anything else. You can also follow the podcast on Kendall Hates Horror on TikTok. We just hit 200 followers. So we're going to try going live here pretty soon and just see if we can get some more followers. Go follow us on all the socials.
If you're following us on TikTok or anything like that, go over to Twitter/X, whatever you want to fucking call it. Go follow us at KHH Pod on Twitter/X.
Yeah.
And then head over to our Instagram. It's at Kendall Hates Horror.
Yeah, and we are Kendall Hates Horror on Blue Sky as well. You can also email us at khhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your criticisms. Tell us what you think about any particular remake that we've talked about, or if there was a remake that we didn't talk about that you think we should have. We might throw another one of these episodes up. Shoot us a follow on on the podcast. We're not trying to make money. We're just trying to get people to listen. So if you're listening, shoot us a follow. You got any last things to say?
Yeah. Give me more butts.
Yeah. You know what this podcast needs? More butthole.
More butthole.
Yeah, more butthole. Wonder if we can get Jodi Arias on. She'd show us her butthole.
Yeah, she's in prison, isn't she?
But we could do a Skype thing.
Carlo, we can get Carlo Molka. Maybe she'll show a butthole.
Oh yeah,
She's out of prison.
Yeah, she is. I think she changed her name.
So's the girl that got her boyfriend to kill himself.
Yeah, Gypsy Rose.
No, not her. Michelle. What's her name?
Yes. Yeah.
Elle Fanning played her.
Yeah. And as always, make sure you punch Nazis. Adios.
Adios.